Good day, poker peeps. This is Sky with Smart Poker Study. And in this video, we're going to do some 3bet bluffing utilizing our Smart HUD for PokerTracker 4, which you can see on the screen right in front of you. Before we get to that, actually, I want to offer you my free PDF, the Top 10 Poker HUD Stats Cheat Sheet. You can get it through the link in the description down below or through smartpokerstudy.com/top10 HUD Stats. Just type that in directly into your browser. Page 1 of this bad boy gives you some good information. Page 2 is where the statistical information comes or begins. We've got the description, ways to exploit this stat on your opponents, some numbers that for regular or for winning regs, these are what your own personal stats should be. And I tell you where to put it in your HUD, right? Or pop-ups as well. In this particular video, when it comes to 3bet bluffing, we're going to focus on a lot of different stats. I'll talk about them, but mainly we'll be looking at raise first in, and in particular, raise first in by position. That's a critical thing to have when you're considering 3bet bluffs. The other stat is 2bet and then fold to 3bet, because you don't want to just look at fold to 3bet, right? If you fold in the big blind, you haven't committed any money other than the big blind, somebody open raises, somebody else 3bets, and you fold. If you just have fold to 3bet, you've actually added to that stat right now. But that's not the situation that we want to think about when we're 3bet bluffing. We want to see how often our opponent 2bets and then folds to 3bet. So we'll definitely be using that in today's video. One last stat we're looking at is fold to flop c-bet right here. Because the thing is, you are going to be 3bet bluffing. Sometimes they call, you're going to have to go post flop. It's really helpful if your opponent folds on the flop as well. Alrighty, so make sure you get this PDF for yourself. Learn from it, smartpokerstudy.com/top10 HUD Stats or the link in the description. Now, you hate facing 3bets, but so do they. You're not the only one that hates them, right? So you want to be doing it more against your opponents. Put the pressure on them, steal pots pre-flop, but then potentially build pots as well. When you are the 3bet bluffer and they know that you're capable of 3bet bluffing, like this guy at 8%, me at 7%, 8% over here, 15%, when you do 3bet, they don't know really, do you have pocket aces right now? Or ace deuce suited? Do you have pocket kings or king jack suited? You know? So it's a really good way. By becoming a more frequent 3better, you're going to naturally disguise your hands when you have that 3bet for value hand. Now, 3bets are the bane of 2bets. I want you right now, pause the video if you have PokerTracker 4 open. Filter in your database for making a 2bet and then calling the 3bet. If you've never worked on this, if you've never worked on your ranges, worked on your strategies when calling 3bets both in position and out of position, the number that you'll find, the win rate, it's probably going to be super ugly. -300, -400, -250 maybe. Just a really ugly number, basically meaning every time you open raise and you call, you're losing on average, right? That's why 3bets are the bane of 2bets, as I say. When it comes to bluffing, you need to be the one sticking it to them. And you want a 3bet bluff when they can find a fold. Now, these 6 aspects to the perfect 3bet bluff, it's when 6 or most of these are in place, they can find a fold quite often. The first aspect that matters is being in position, because people realize pre-flop, if you have position on them, like I have right here on the button, if they call my 3bet, they're going to face flop, turn, and river action out of position against me. With that positional advantage, they're going to be more hesitant to continue to the flop. This is just in general. Not every player is more hesitant, right? But in general, more hesitant, your 3bet bluffs are more likely to succeed when in position. Now, the second aspect, if you hold an ace, preferably suited and connected, those are really good hands, because when I hold this ace right here, I block my opponent from having as many pocket aces, ace king and ace queen, maybe even ace jack and ace 10, which are common 3bet calling hands. Now, the third aspect is having a small open raise size and a large stack. Let's show that right here. So we got 2.5 big blinds right here. It's great that it makes a smaller bet, because a lot of players, they like to bet smaller just naturally with their weaker hands. When they have a stronger hand, they want to bet bigger to try to get value. Small bets just in general mean potential weakness, right? The big stack as well is good because if I 3-bet to 9 big blinds, that pot, if they fold, the pot on the flop would be roughly 20 big blinds, 19.5. I still have 91, or after I 3-bet, 82 chips behind, or 82 big blinds behind, but he has a plenty big enough stack. He is not committed right now. And if I make it 9, he only has 2.5. It's going to cost him 6.5 more to see the flop. Well then, that's going to hopefully convince him to fold instead of me making it 5 or 6 big blinds, Now, raise first in buy position, you want to see that greater than 20% because the larger their open raising range, the more likely they got tons of crap in it and they can be folding those hands. Raise and then fold to 3-bet greater than 50% as well. You want to see that buy position, and we'll take a look at that for this opponent in just a sec. Also, you want to see fold to flop, c-bet greater than 50% because just in case they call, you want an additional way to win the pot pre-flop, and flop-honest players are great ones to target for flop bluffing, like this player right over here, folding 57%. Me, in this situation, it's only 1 out of 1, but that high percentage is a good sign. This player at 47%, 7 out of 15, basically folds half the time. So if I make a half pot c-bet against this player, it only needs to work 33% of the time. His tendency is to fold roughly 50. It's a great bluff to be making. Now it's a bummer, this player down here, it's only 0, but it's 0 out of 1, but we have everything else going for us right here, right? So, actually, before I show you that, let's count them up. We're in position. I hold a suited and connected ace, small open raise size, large stack, raise first in buy position. Let's take a look at this is the raise first in statistic. He's at 51% as a total. In the Smart HUD, if I click it, we're going to see a positional breakdown of this. Raise first in the cutoff is 31%. Really frequent cutoff stealer right here with a wide range, more likely that he'll be folding. Another place to look for this information is in this Assassinato pop-up, I call it, because I built this off of Alex Fitzgerald's, one of his videos. In the cutoff, he open raises 31%, 83 on the button. Yeah, we've got a loose aggressive player right here. If you remember in my last video, I would actually consider this player. He is loose aggressive, but he's fishy as well. He's calling a ton pre-flop, plays 40% of hands. He's a target at the table, especially with that big stack, right? Let's see, raise and then fold to 3-bet greater than 50%. So far, it's 100%, and it's 5 out of 5. What a great player to be targeting with 3-bet bluffs. He's very honest versus 3-bets. If he calls us, he's going to have a very strong hand here. If he 4-bets, holy cow, it's probably aces, kings, or queens. Now, last one, fold to flop c-bet. Like I said, it's 0%. If we click on this one right now, we can see in position and out of position how he faces c-bets. And so far, out of position, fold to c-bet, 0 out of 1 opportunity. So we have 5 things going for us. So this really is an automatic 3-bet bluff. We make it 9, folds all around. Sweet, we took it down. Now, let's talk about sizing. We got 3 more hands to look at. But sizing, 9 big blinds or more, you basically want to give them a reason to fold. If you make it 6, 7, or 8, that's just not big enough. They're getting too good of pot odds to make the call. Let's see what he needs now. He needs 34% equity in the hand. He needs to win 1 out of every 3. But if he's raising 33%, he's folding so much of his junk. He's folding 10-7 suited, maybe ace-8 offsuit, something which is slightly better than our hand. King-jack suited, king-queen offsuit. He could be folding all of those hands right now, especially because we made it bigger, and it's a little too costly for him. So, when to 3-bet. When 5 or 6 aspects are in place, you must 3-bet bluff. Train yourself to start doing it at the best situations. 4 to 3 aspects, that's iffy. As you get more practice 3-bet bluffing here, you're going to start finding good opportunities when you only have 4 or 3. 0 or 2 aspects, it's very risky. Lean, not learn. Let's delete that. Lean toward folding or calling when you only have 0 or 2 in place. This was a good first successful hand right here. Let's take a look at the next. 10-7 suited the small blind. 24-22, looking loose aggressive. His HUD stats here in the Smart HUD looks like he knows what he's doing. Raising first in 31%, 4% calling, so tight aggressive player. Folds to steals a lot, barrels, and even bets rivers 50% of the time. This player knows what he's doing. He's using a HUD, but look at that tiny size, 2.2. And then we get a fold. Now, let's count the aspects that we have in place. Here's the button. So we're not in position. We don't hold an ace. Small open raise and large stack. We both got large stack, small raise. That one's in place. Raise first in by position. In the cutoff, we got 28%. Lovely. So we got that one in place. Folds 50% of the time, but it is 4 out of 8. That's a really good sample size. I always like it, greater than 50%, but it's right at 50. We're good there. Fold to flop C-bet, 50%. It's 0 out of 2 opportunities. But hey, we've got 3 out of 4. Like I said, this is a maybe. So what I do, 9 big blinds or more, give them a reason to fold. I think I might have made it 1 or 2 big blinds too big because it's 2.2. I bet I could have made it 10 and still got the exact same result right here. But hey, even though I oversized it, lovely result. 25-0, Fishy player. We should have him color-coded green, actually. We love players like this here. Limps in, short stack, fish. Now, we get a fold, and then an ISO raise. I don't know anything about this player, but just looking at this, one of the things I teach, and I taught you guys this in the last video, isolate the fish whenever possible with a decent hand. Well, he made it such a small size, I've got a great 3-bet bluffing opportunity. And if he knows what he's doing, he's folded all 5 hands so far, no calls at all, probably a type player that knows what he's doing, folding to steals 100%, 1 out of 1. I think I can get him to fold. I think he's ISO raising to try to get this player heads up with kind of a wide range right here. So I make it 12 big blinds. Oh, before we actually keep going through the hand, I am in position. I don't hold an ace. It's a small-ish size based on the situation. It's not 2.2 big blinds, but if he really wanted to isolate this player, he should have made it more to not give me such a good opportunity. So I am going to say it's kind of a small open raise size. Raise first in, don't know. Raise fold to 3-bet, don't know. Fold to flop C-bet, don't know. We only have 2 things going for us, but I said, hey, I'm in position, got a decent hand. I can play post flop against this guy in position. Let's do it. Fold and a call. Shucks, he called. 9-6-6, hard to hit board. Check. Of course, I'm going to make slightly over half pot C-bet, and he folds, taking that bad boy down. Now, you can even 3-bet here when you only have 2 things in place if you're just willing to play post-flop poker against your opponents. Because I don't know anything about him. He doesn't know anything about me. He doesn't know what I'm capable of. He might just take his chances with a wide portion of his range. Call, see the flop, hard to hit flop, take it down. Final hand, ace-king. Now, you might think at the, or look at this and think, Sky, ace-king is a super strong hand. Is this really a bluff betting, or bluff 3-betting situation? And I would say in general, yes, it is. You only have an ace and a king. How many times have we open raised or 3-bet or called or 4-bet with ace-king, hit nothing on the flop and lost the hand? Too many times, right? It is just an ace and a king. If I choose to 3-bet here, I'm happy taking this pot down. 7.1 big blinds. For a simple 3-bet, I can take that down. What a lovely result. So one of the ways I think about bluff versus value, if I would be happy with everybody folding right now, I lean towards it being more of a bluff bet. Ace-king, ace-queen, even though they're strong, can be 3-bet bluffs. But I'm also happy actually isolating such a fishy player over here. Look at that. We should be color coding him green as well. We've got another fish up top here. Let's give him the green. We've got a nitty player, another nitty player, potentially loose aggressive, tight aggressive here. We've got a mixture of all different types at this table. But I always tag the fish because I want to know who to isolate. The 3-bet here, like I said, does 2 different things. It's bluffing because I made it so big, 13 big blinds, because it's a squeeze. I could get everybody to fold, but hopefully this big stack fish calls. Let's count how many aspects that we have. We're in position. We do hold an ace, not suited, but it is connected, plus another big card with the king. The open raise size is small in large stack, large stack, large stack. 2.8 is kind of small. You know, it's getting towards the 3 big blinds. But I will say we have that. Now, we only have 15 hands on this player. Let's take a look at his HUD. In the under the gun EP, it's 0%, so we don't necessarily have that, but he does appear to be loose aggressive. I would say we kind of have that. Maybe not in the EP, but I guarantee all of his aces and any of his kings that he's open raising, we're ahead of right now. We've got loads of equity against pocket 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks. Yeah, it's a good spot to be 3-betting. And if he calls, like I said, we got tons of equity versus some of his calling range. Raise and then fold. Oh, darn, it's 0. Fold to flop c-bet. Well, that's 0 as well. So we have 4 things. At a minimum 3, possibly a 4th thing going for us right here. So I love making this 3-bet. Fold, and hey, what do you know? I isolated the fish at the table. Loving this spot. Queen, queen 7. Not a great board. I do have 2 overcards, backdoor flush, backdoor straight draw, but it is a hard to hit board. And I just want him to fold right now, right? Check. And I bet 16, making a little over half pot, giving him incentive to fold, even though he doesn't generally fold. Drat, he called. Well, it's not the end of the world. One of our equity outs just hit. We got a 10, giving us a gut shot. Too bad it's not the 10 of clubs to give us the flush draw plus the gut shot. But still, we can use this kind of card to barrel this player off his hand, potentially. 62, 61. I'm going to be risking a lot of chips. I could just shove right here. But I decided to make it smaller in the effort of just getting to fold, saving on my bluff. I think anything that he's folding here, he would fold against a shove the same frequency as this half pot roughly bet right here. And I just wanted to make it look really strong, like I have pocket aces, like I have ace queen, and I'm betting half my stack because I want value. That's why I did this. Sometimes when you bluff, even if your bluff shove is a full pot size bet, even when your shove is a full pot size bet, it looks bluffy to your opponents. I didn't want this bet to look bluffy. And then he calls me right there. Drat, didn't work. But I hit my straight. Awesome. Got lucky. So sometimes your 3-bet bluffing and then barrel bluffing opportunities don't pan out. But then on that river, boom, you hit your straight, shoving your last 28 big blinds into 128.3 big blind pot. Of course he's going to call. He wasn't scared on the 10 or the jack on the paired queen's board. And he had the ace 10 right there. So it's interesting. If that wasn't a 10, I bet you he would have folded to my barrel. But because he got a pair, he was ahead of my ace king at the time, hence his turn call right there. Now, you saw me use the Smart HUD to make some great 3-bet bluffs. If you want to do that for yourself, you can get the Smart HUD by going to smartpokerstudy.com/smarthud. It comes with 3 different versions. This cash version that you see, plus a 6-max tournament and a full ring tournament version, plus the 7 custom pop-ups and a 75-minute webinar to learn every aspect of the HUD.